We're going to go through some of the videos that we're seeing here. We're going to start in Port Charlotte. Again, flooded streets. You can see the homes are vulnerable. I think I see a person there in the background at a house, that White House there. We zoom out, but it gives you a perspective of the flooding that we are seeing in Port Charlotte right now. Of course, people hoping and waiting for that water to recede. Could take some time, but that's what they're seeing there in Port Charlotte.
We've seen a lot of pictures out of Clearwater and some of the water and some of the damage and some of that water getting into people's homes. We know that's a tough spot for a lot of people. And I'm not sure. I think we may still be in. Is that Port Charlotte there still?
That's still Port Charlotte. Yeah, it's just
okay.
It's looping, but we're just gives you a good look there.
Here's Clearwater, and
yeah.
This is a fishing dock right here, and you see just how kind of intense some of those waves are, and really a lot of these docks and fencing, everything else is no match for these the storm surge and the tides, and it just it's going to take a lot for them to kind of rebuild some of these areas, but that appears to be relatively intact.
All right, so here is some video from above, from aerials, from it sounds like a helicopter from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. You could see there people in the water, just how flooded it is, how high the water is. A woman there with her dog. It's an interesting perspective when you see it from the air. There you go. You could see the homes. Look at the backyards flooded all the way up to the door. From what it looks like there, that gray house, it looks as if it's in the house. Just me eyeing it, looking at it, just how easily it jumps the seawall and enters the backyards there. I mean, that home nearly looks like its own island because there's water all around it.
It sure does. And you see the people up on the balcony. Wow. Yeah. You know, and these homes are waterfront homes, of course, and so many homes in our area, are at sea level, which is kind of remarkable as we see sea levels rise. It is really kind of terrifying, I know, for these folks, particularly for some of those folks who stayed behind them. I'm sure some of them were wondering, why did we do that? And we hear that often after these storms. I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. Then others simply, kind of throw caution to the wind and say, I'm going to ride this one out. And various reasons for all kinds of people. Some people want to stay behind with their property. Some people are concerned about looting. Some people are just feel safer in their own home.
Yeah, and in some cases, places that are prone for flooding, I've seen it where people have driven their cars to another location that is higher ground, and then they go back home.
Yep.
It's because
or have
they know
a difficult time getting home.
And they say, okay, I don't want my car to go underwater, but I'm still going to ride it out. But you see there what can happen when the water rises, and then you can see in those videos how neighbors come together and they're kind of just looking around and looking at the mess.
Yeah, it's
and
kind of
trying to figure out where do you start.
Kind of what you expect, I think, to a certain extent when you're on the water. I mean, we sort of know that. But we've lucked out so much in the Tampa Bay area over the years. Like we lucked out last year with Ian. We've lucked out with many storms in the past, even Hurricane Elena back in '85. These kind of things. I mean, we've had damage, we've had flooding, but not the catastrophic stuff that we've seen from like Hurricane Ian and some others, Andrew and Katrina. So.
Yeah, and with a lot of these